Hi everyone, my name is Herceny Cid. I am from Guatemala and I was raised in Los Angeles. I run a coffee business from start to finish. I have coffee farms in Guatemala, so we pick coffee with my family and then dry it, export it, bring it to the US, roast it here, and then we sell it in retail roasted. So you should definitely give it a try. I love Guatemala. It's where I come from. It's where my coffee comes from. I was there till I was 5 years old. My whole family was still there. And I just absolutely love the nature in Guatemala, the people in Guatemala. Everyone is very friendly, everyone is very welcoming. It just feels like family there. And every time I go to Guatemala, any pain that I have, it just goes away magically. And I think it's because of the nature part of Guatemala, which I absolutely love. And I love football. It was the only language I spoke when I came to the US. I didn't speak English. I only spoke Spanish. In a new country, everyone spoke soccer. So I could like go play soccer with the kids and we understood each other. So I just love soccer. I was born into it. My father played soccer and he was really good at it. He was a forward. He was number 10. So it's kind of a big deal. And I just grew up loving soccer because my dad loves soccer. And he just instilled that in me, that passion for football. And I just can relate to it so much because football is global. Football represents so many different cultures, so many different languages. And I felt that in my heart coming to a new country. Um, I'm from another country. I'm global. I'm different. Just like football, even football in the U.S. at that time wasn't so popular. Um, so I guess I could relate a little to that. And so my father loved the Guatemalan football team. I love the Guatemalan football team. It just represents a country that I love so much. So of course I'm gonna cheer for Guatemala. I want the best for the Guatemalan soccer team. I wish we could make it to the World Cup. I know my dad always dreamed of it. He would say, I hope in my lifetime I get to see Guatemala in the World Cup. Like, watch Guatemala qualify to a World Cup. I mean, even for me, it would be like amazing. But my father never got to experience it because he passed away from cancer in 2013. So that passion that my father had for soccer led me to actually work in football. So I got to work for US Soccer. I got to cover Major League Soccer international games, World Cup. I got to go to Federation of Football in Korea. I actually interviewed in Food Guatemala. So I got like really in there and I learned so much about soccer and the operations behind it. How is it that we get to watch a soccer game on TV? Like everything that it takes for that to happen, for that entertainment, it's so much work. So I learned all of that and I'm very grateful that I got to do that. And I just loved every bit of it. But after my father passed away, I couldn't, it was very hard for me because soccer and football were my father. And I loved both things so much. But I still watch it. I am now running a coffee business because it's another thing that my father instilled in me is to love my land and to love my coffee and to love where I came from. And that coffee grows in that land where I was born. And my father planted some of the plants that are still giving us some coffee. Actually, we had to prune some of them this year because they're too old. We didn't want to, but we have to because they do produce more. So we had to prune them, but I still see like those are still the plants my dad planted. They're just gonna sprout new ones. It's just the part that he touched on the plant is no longer there. So that was kind of hard. So that's why I love coffee and I love football. I do not miss a World Cup game. There's absolutely no way. I was in Guatemala this year watching the World Cup. So that was so cool. And that's why I love football. That's why I love coffee. And I think people need to know more about Guatemala and my people and what we do, how we actually love football. And I think growing up in Los Angeles, people always say like, oh, you like soccer, but Guatemala didn't make it to the World Cup. Yeah, but come to Guatemala. We play soccer with mangoes. Like, we could find anything and make it a soccer ball, because that's what football is. You can play that anywhere around the world. You don't need money to play soccer, and that's why I love soccer. And it unites people, and I hope one day I get to see Guatemala qualify to the World Cup, play in a World Cup game, and I still am a part of my father, so it'll be like he's witnessing it too. So I'm Herceny, and nice to meet you, and I hope you fall in love with Guatemala. I know you will, and football, and you definitely need to try my coffee.